The best time to travel with kids is when they're freshly out of the womb, when they're sleeping all the time. And the absolute worst time I've ever experienced in my entire life for traveling with kids is 18 months old. Don't do it. Just absolutely do not do it. That was hell on earth. Hell on an airplane.
She's not going to Paris with me. I love her to death, but she's staying home with dad. Yes, I love you, but bye, girlie. Have fun with your dad.
Screen time on airplanes is not real screen time for me. It is a means to
Survival?
an end. Yes, and it is survival, and we do it.
Two moms, too much coffee, tired eyes, but hearts so full. Thanks for tuning in with us. Hope you brewed a cup for you.
Welcome back to Two Moms, Too Much Coffee. You have Tempestt here, and you also have...
Hey, guys, it's Giselle.
Hey, Giselle. How's everything going?
Well, today so me and Nick, and I know I mentioned this on the last podcast, that we are trying to travel a lot more.
Yes.
And so we're going to Liverpool. So we're going to the UK in February with some of our really good friends, and we're bringing Naya. And we have traveled with Naya within the States, and they have been like 2 to 3 hour plane rides. One of the times we traveled, there was a layover, vastly different of what our experience is going to be in February. Luckily, no layover. So we are going straight through to Heathrow. But I have so many questions. So many questions. And you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have traveled internationally with Abel, correct?
Yes. We went to the Dominican Republic, which is not as far, but we did go there. And then we also went to London. So we've actually traveled through Heathrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. So with that, I know that there's other moms that I'm sure have had so many questions with either like traveling in the car, or traveling within the States, or internationally. So I want to just pick your brain today. I have, of course, being a mom, I have so many questions of just like, what is the best way? Because I know that there's like so many different answers, and every mom is different of like, what's the best. But I just want to pick your brain. So
yeah, for sure.
That's what we're going to do today, guys. We're going to be just picking Tempest's brain on advice on internationally traveling with the kiddos. So first questions first. What the hell are you packing? I am like, okay, I could pack so many things, like clothes wise, it's going to be different because it's going to be freezing there. But like starting off with just equipment in general, car seat, pack and play, stroller. Like, were you a packer or were you a renter? Or neither?
Okay. Yes. So I have both. I am not an overpacker. I think I've said this on this podcast before. I live by, if I didn't pack it, I'll buy it there, because it's certainly, there are some big things that you're like, okay, I don't want to buy a whole new, stroller there. But sometimes it's more cost efficient to do things like that, where instead of paying extra for baggage, then you just buy, a $35 stroller there. So like there are things like that that actually might be more cost effective. Okay, so I have a baby packing list. I do want to say that we traveled with Abel when he was 9 months old, and then we traveled with him when he was 7 months old. So it was just a different time because they sleep a little bit more, they need a little less. I have also traveled with Abel when he was 18 months old, but it was domestically, so we didn't need nearly as much, but we still needed a lot. I will say, I know you didn't ask this and it's not the question, but I'm going to say it anyway. The best time to travel with kids is when they're freshly out of the womb, when they're sleeping all the time. And the absolute worst time I've ever experienced in my entire life for traveling with kids is 18 months old. Don't do it. Just absolutely do not do it. That was hell on earth. Hell on an airplane. It's terrible. So anyway, glad you're not doing that. She's going to be 13 months, which is great. I'm pretty sure you're also traveling in June and July. So sorry in advance, but it was.
Oh, she's not going. That one. She's staying home.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so I have a baby packing list that I will share there, but I'm not going to just read off everything, but I will read off kind of the bigger things that I thought was a necessity. However, it depends on what time of year you're going. So I know you're going,
Mm,
it's going to be a little bit cooler. So you might not need all of this stuff. But I personally thought they were very helpful when I was going. So one of the biggest things is a travel high chair. If she's used to a high chair, it gets very frustrating to like have to hold her on her lap or do just like it's just really nice when you can have this travel high chair. And really the one that I had was it just buckled into a chair. So you kind of just you're basically strapping her into a normal chair. And then she is sitting up in this chair instead of having to like carry on like an actual high chair. So that was something that you could fold up, put in your suitcase. It's really nice to have. You're supposed to stop bottles around a year. So I don't know if you're going to be using bottles, but dish soap is one of the big ones that I think
mhm,
you need internationally because a lot of people use bar soap or they don't have liquid. And so it's really difficult to clean, especially in a hotel setting if they only give you bar soap.
mhm.
So I always make sure I bring dish soap. I have a bottle drying rack, extension cords, and different outlets depending on where you're going. That's a necessity. I used a slumber pod. It is a little controversial because it's quote unquote not safe sleep, but at the time, if you're in a hotel, it really is helpful. There is a slumber pod fan that goes along with it. Wipes, diapers, stroller. For when I was traveling, stroller was also my car seat because I had a Duna, and that was really helpful. But by the time he was 18 months, he was not in the Duna anymore. So we did buy a separate car seat for travel. And it's a Cosco on Look
Mm.
2-in-1 convertible. It is one that I found that you could do rear facing, and it is so light. When I traveled with this car seat, I traveled without my partner, so I was doing everything, and I was able to get him in the car. I was able to get the car seat in and get him in the car seat without a big fuss, which was very nice. It's super light. I just put it on my back with a car seat bag that I also bought, which I will also link, and that was really helpful. So I would say those are probably like the biggest things if you're traveling to a place that does not include water, that you're just kind of going to vacation.
Yeah,
Um,
this is so helpful so far. Like, I'm actually taking notes, guys. Like, genuinely writing down things like I'm in class.
of that is something that it depends on the kind of like monitor you have. I use a Nanit, and so it's Wi-Fi based, and you have to have a private Wi-Fi. So I also bought a private router that you can hook up to a
Mm.
Wi-Fi, and it's private. So that's another thing I use. So that way I could use a Nanit inside a hotel, so I can see, especially in the summer pod, because I was very nervous because it's not safe sleep technically. So I also had a router.
I love these. So many, just so many things. First, the slumber pod. So that's just to clarify. So that is the pod that you put over the crib
Yeah.
and then it's like
Yes.
dark inside. Okay, this is one of the things that I was thinking about renting because they have like different companies and you can pretty much just say like renting equipment in XYZ, like country, wherever you're at. And then it'll pop up whatever you have. And so that was
Hmm.
one of the things of thinking about renting that or like a pack and play. Some hotels come with cribs. I think one of the hotels we're staying in, you just call and you reserve the crib. And then I think one, we might have to rent a pack and play. But one of the things I was thinking about was also renting the slumber pod. So
Hmm.
I know that one is controversial, but it's also just hard because, like, in life right now, Naya is in her room in a dark room, and then she's obviously separate from us. And so then transitioning back to her being in a room with us sleeping, I'm like, how is that going to be? Because she's just so much more aware now and nosy that,
Hmm.
like, I mean, that's why we transitioned her to her own room ahead of time because the girl's nosy.
Right.
Yeah. So Slumber Pod, did it end up working for you? Like, do you feel like it helped a lot?
Yes, yes. So it helped a ton. When I traveled to Europe, we had separate rooms. So it was easier. But when I traveled when he was 18 months, since I was traveling by myself, obviously we don't need two rooms. That's crazy. So we used the slumber pod then.
Yeah.
And we used it at multiple hotels because we kind of travel around. We were doing
Mhm.
a couple things, and we used it at multiple hotels. I was able because they go to bed at that time, like 6:30, 7:30, and I'm not going to bed then. And so, um, it was really nice. Like inside of it, because I actually got into it because I'm like, everybody complains that it gets a little warm in there. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit in here and just see what's going on. And it it did a little warm, but I wasn't, like, too concerned. But anyway, it's
Mhm.
super dark, and they have a fan, and I put my white noise in there too, and you can't hear anything, and they Abel slept the entire time when we were gone, which was super nice,
Mhm.
and I bet you it's because we don't normally use blackout curtains, so I bet you it's because it's super black that he was like, "Oh, this is nice. Who knew the world could get so dark?"
So, are we getting this one again?
Right.
Yes. I love this. And it also makes me think of my next question. How the hell did your baby nap? Like, what did you did that go out the
Uh,
window? Because like I'm not going back to the hotel for girly to nap, but does that make me a bad mom? Like, what does a nap schedule look like when you're traveling in
yeah.
general?
So it really depends on you, in my opinion, because at 12 months, when you're traveling, they can certainly last most of
Hmm.
the day with like a really crap nap. It's not going to be fun for everyone, but they can get through. And so for me, if I was on the go, he'd be sleeping wherever it's at. Like if you're more than likely you're sleeping in a stroller, you're sleeping in a baby carrier, you're doing, anything. For me, I was just like, "You're just gonna sleep wherever you want." But if we had time, I certainly did take him back, and I was able to rest because I actually don't really like go, go, go all day.
Hmm.
So I was able to rest too, and he got a little nap. So I would say it's a combination of how you want it to work. However, how long are you gone?
10 days.
Okay, that's nice. That's a long time. So when we went to London, he did not adjust to time zone until the last
Hmm.
day. And we were gone for 7 days. And I think 8 days total, but we were gone for 7 days. And for anybody that doesn't know the time difference, it's 6 hours. So, and it's 6 hours ahead. So it is just, it was pretty awful at night because he was like awake
Hmm.
and I just didn't sleep. So we didn't really get a lot of great sleep there. So I would say that if napping helps and having good naps helps get adjusted to the time zone, that would probably be ideal. But that's just one of those things. I'm just going to caution you that it sucks. The time difference sucks for sure.
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions too.
Yeah.
And like just in general, no, I'm glad that you answered because I was going to ask that. Um, And then in general, like with naps, like with Naya being in daycare, I feel like we've almost like prepared her because
Mm,
she just doesn't nap well at daycare. Like on the weekend, we have a set. She naps at 10 and 2:30, and so she's set on the weekend. She goes down, but at daycare, she sometimes doesn't nap until 2:30 for her first nap. It's crazy,
mhm.
but she's like happy in all the photos, and they're like she was happy all day, like. So hopefully it'll make that a lot better. But obviously the time change is gonna throw that off too. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm also thinking, is it 10 days? It might be a little less. We have so many trips that we're planning, but still, it's around there. 7 to 10
Yeah.
days around that time range.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would
And
have
then you
given different advice if it was less time. That's all. That's why I was asking.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's around 7 to 10. It's not on top of mine. I can't even remember. But you also mentioned high chairs and the travel high chair, which I didn't even know that was a thing. So that's amazing. I took a note of that. But it makes me think of food. How did you do with food? Did you pack a lot of food for like everything I'm seeing on TikTok is like pack a lot of snacks, like our flight, it comes with meal and everything like that. But obviously, you don't know if that's going to be their favorite thing or not. So
Mhm.
definitely gonna prepare for the flight and everything like that. But once you are actually there, going to restaurants, like did you pack a lot of different snacks just for the time that you're there or like foods and pouches? Or were you just like ordering fruit or whatever it was? I mean, each country, each location is different. So like how did that work for you?
Yeah. So when you're gone, as long as you are, for me, I always go to the grocery store when I'm there.
Mm.
So because I just there's no way I'm packing for, 7 to 10 days. That's a long time
Right.
to have food, and I'm also not eating out that much. For me, I'm like, I'm gonna make something at home, I guess what I normally have, like, a kitchenette. I don't know if you do, but when
Yeah.
I'm gone that long, I normally have, like, some sort of kitchen or kitchenette, and so I end up cooking. One of the big things I did was, like, a spaghetti situation, so they're eating a
Mm,
lot of noodles, and a lot of pouches. Yes, so a lot
mm,
of any type of bars that are nutrient dense. I love the Cerebellis. They are super nutrient dense and they're really good for them, and there's not a lot of sugar in them. I also do a lot of Cheerios or something that they can just pick up one at a time. And I that actually is one of my tips for the airplane. I don't know if that's one of your questions, but
mhm,
a long flight and they get cranky, they're gonna cry, they're gonna, you will be that family because it's too long of a flight not to be.
mhm.
They for one of the activities I had is literally just, like, snacking on Cheerios, and you just, like, one at a time because it takes them forever to just, like, eat one at a time. And it ends up being, like, 30 minutes of just eating different types of Cheerios, and it just has some time that passes by instead of, giving them a bar where it's like it's gone in 2 seconds. It's like a very slow eating process, so that's one of the things I do, but I would say the biggest thing I did is I went to the grocery store when I was there. They have kids there, so they have kid food there, and it was easier because they do have, various pouches, and I actually kinda like the UK FDA, whatever
Mhm.
that's called. So, their food choices are probably a little healthier too.
A lot better than ours.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
filled with all of the shit.
exactly.
Me bringing home food from the UK. No, yeah, no, yeah, that's great advice, especially the Cheerios and me being happy with, like, the fine motor play in general of that.
Mhm.
But also, like, it makes you think TikTok's like, "Oh, buy all brand new toys." So then they are, like, intrigued with all of these brand new toys, which I think is, like, ideally it's a good idea, but also, like, is that something you found that you needed for Abel? Or I mean, we do toy rotation just like I know you do, so
Mhm.
we might have a toy that she hasn't seen in, a month that might just intrigue her anyway, but I'm like, "Should I spend all of this money on all of these new toys?" And we also try not to have, like, a shit ton of toys in general.
Yeah. We have had new toys on the airplane every time.
Yeah.
It does keep their attention for a little bit, but you've traveled already, so you might already have them, like, the little spin toys for the
Mhm.
window. There's, like, a lot of, like, pooling type toys where it goes through a device. I don't even know what I'll link it, but basically goes through a device. Um, they I think there's, like, some, like, sticker things you can stick to windows. To
Mhm.
me, it doesn't work well enough for me because they are not interested in it, especially at this age where they are they wanna get down and move around. I know you're gonna hate it, but for me, it's screen time.
I
That's
knew you
the
were gonna
only way.
say it.
That
As soon as you said you're gonna hate it, my eye was like, twitching.
I know, like, it's like you don't wanna be that parent, and I never did, and I know some people can be like, "No, I wanna be that parent, I don't care." But screen time on airplanes is not real screen time for me. It is a means to
Survival?
an end, yes, and it is survival, and we do it, and especially like, one of the flights that you go there, at least for I'm sure for you too, one of the flights is gonna be in the middle of the day, and there's just no way you can get around that because you're either gonna go there red eye and you're gonna have to come back in the morning. It's just like it doesn't they're awake. They don't sleep nearly as much as they did when they're younger, and
I
so
know.
you gotta it's either that or you let them crawl around on the airplane floor, and no.
Boy, telling Nick that screen he is like doesn't even want us like text like and we try not to like be on the phone around her, but obviously
Mhm.
it's we're human and it's hard to like if so that's gonna be funny to tell him like, we might need to. He's gonna be like, that's gonna be the last option. Yeah.
Yeah, even worse, there is a very cute, like, headband that has speakers in it. So it's not even just screen time, but then you put headphones on them so they can't hear anything else either. So they are fully
God.
engrossed, but it works. It works because after our well, for us, I think it was like a 7-hour flight, 6-hour flight. It was something really long. And after hour, like, 4, you're just like, "Oh my goodness, like, what am I doing?"
I forget what time we leave. I think we leave at night time to get there. Yeah, we leave at night and we get there in the morning. So the flight there will be
Yeah.
during her usual bedtime. It's gonna be the
Mhm.
flight home
Yep.
that because we're leaving in the morning. Yeah. So that's the one that I'm the most fearful of because I mean, she's gonna be out of routine. Naps have obviously been a nightmare. Time change, like all of that. I think she's gonna be like losing her mind on that flight.
Mhm.
And she's already in the like even in the grocery store, wherever, she's like, I want to be crawling. I want to be like moving around. So that's the flight that I'm most, like, just quite terrified of, but
Yep.
I'll come back and let you guys know.
It'll be alright. I mean, everybody does it, and
Yeah,
everybody's okay. And a lot of the time, like, for me, everybody was very nice. They were so nice. They're like, "Oh, he's doing great. You're doing great." Like, everybody was very, very sweet and understanding. We
yeah.
were not the only kids, so, like, there's just I wish they would put all the kids together, to be honest, but they don't. And so we're just kinda, like, there, and we're just like, "Hey, guys, we're all on this airplane together."
All
So
in this. No,
exactly.
quite literally, yeah. Okay, the only question I have left is, I think my biggest thing is, like, in my head, traveling domestically, we brought our car seat and we just put the car seat in the car because that's the car that we were gonna use, but
Mhm.
obviously that's not how it's we're not renting a car to drive on the opposite side, so we're not doing that, but did you do a lot of public transportation, a lot of walking, or were you packing around that car seat and getting in Ubers?
Yeah, so I've never been to Liverpool, so I don't know what their
Yeah.
transportation looks like, but in London, we did strictly the tube. It was great,
Yeah.
and walking, so we had the Duna, which was helpful, but
Mhm,
we used it as a stroller the bulk of the time.
mhm,
I think the only time we used the Duna as, like, an actual car seat was going from the airport to the hotel because we had a lot of stuff. So
mhm.
I guess we did use
Yeah.
it then. And then after that, once we had all of our stuff put where we needed to put it, we just got public transportation. We walked everywhere. I think we averaged 8 miles a day. Um,
Mm,
so it was lots of walking, but very, very doable. I think there's a lot more accommodations for children in the UK than there is in the US. So I
yeah.
think it was easier and people are super nice and helpful. But yeah, like I said, the car seat that I did get is super light. So even if you
Mhm.
had to put that in all the time, the only issue I guess is if you're going somewhere you wouldn't want to have that car seat. So it really depends on what you do in that situation. I don't know. I guess I never did it like that where I'd have to, like, get
Yeah.
dropped off somewhere. I only took transportation. My guess, though, is Liverpool has good transportation like everywhere else.
Yeah. That's what we have researched so far. We also learned, and this could be inaccurate because, it's the internet. So anyone call me out if this is wrong. But we also learned that having a car seat in the UK is not illegal to not have one in your car if it's unavailable, which I'm not doing that by any means, but
Mhm.
I was floored by that. And it was like, you just carry baby? Scary, but I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. The world is different over there. So, but
right.
yeah, that was the thing. So we were researching public transportation, all of that. But we
I
have the
also
Graco, and that was not something I want to bring. So I'm definitely going to look
right.
into that car seat.
Yeah, I don't trust, airport employees with my car seat, and it's no offense to them. I guess I don't trust any employee with my car seat. So, for me, I was just like, "I'll get the cheap one," so that way it still passes all the tests that it's supposed to pass, but it's obviously not the one that I spent all the money on, which is
Right,
nice.
right. Yeah. Um,
One of the good things I did in regards to, like, stuff for baby while we were on the trip that I would say that everybody should do is baby rental. I know you talked about slumber pod, but it's not just sleeping stuff. You can get
mhm,
toys, you can get car seats, they can drop it off at the airport, they can do,
mhm,
strollers, any of that stuff that you need for baby, you can get delivered, depending on who it is. So, I used Baby Quip. I don't know if it's international, I used it in California, but, I used Baby Quip, and I'm sure there's a brand that does something international because it is so useful, I can't imagine that it hasn't grown since then, and I would 100% do something that if you're not trying to purchase something new, but you need it over there, look on BabyQuip because it might end up being a very similar price as purchasing it, but then you don't have to like lug it around, which is also convenient.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I had looked into like different toys and stuff like that. But even like car seat, originally we were looking at car seat because we were playing around with the idea of she's under 2, so she can be on your lap, but that's
Mhm.
just too long of a flight for me. If
Yeah.
that's what works for you, that works for you. So, but we got her own seat, so she's gonna have her car seat.
Mm.
If we would not have done that, we would have just rented the car seat, or if it was a domestic flight. But we, even our flight from Texas, which is a 3-hour nonstop flight, on that flight in October, in that moment, I said, we are not we are not flying to the UK like this because I was hot, I was sweating. She was like, it was just too much. So, but yeah, also stroller is a big one. 'Cause I've gone back and forth with, like, if just renting the stroller, and that may be one that we rent just because I don't know if I wanna we have a Nuna, and I mean, it's expensive stroller, and they typically just throw things, and at the time when we traveled domestically, she was still, like, okay with being in her stroller for a good amount of time. Now she wants to be out, like, she wants to be in the
Mhm.
carrier, she wants to be looking around, so I'm like, "Am I gonna bring this heavy stroller when I could probably either rent one or just, like you said, buy a cheap one once we get over there for, like, if we need it?"
Mhm.
But I'm just like, she just wants to be in a carrier. And so I'm also one of the things I'm trying to figure out is we have the Ergo Baby, but a lot of people have been saying that at this age, it's nice to have I think the Tush Baby, where it's just like on the hip. The only
Mm.
thing with that is like napping wise, she wouldn't nap on that. So I'm going back and forth of like spending money on that or just using what the carrier we have now.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think we're gonna be leaning more towards carrier versus stroller or just having, like, a cheap stroller that isn't heavy to lug around, like our Nuna is pretty heavy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I have a tush baby or I had
Okay.
a tush baby. I actually got rid of it. Um, because it's nice because if you're like in the airport, walking around for me was like a little iffy because she can't walk, and Naya can't walk yet either.
No,
So
yeah.
she can't walk, and so for me, if she wants to be put down, then I have to, like, put her down, and then I still have this thing on me because the tush baby's there, and so
Mm,
it's just a little awkward. I do know that they have come out with, like, a attachment where it's, like, kind of like a carrier-esque attachment, so it has, like you don't have to hold because right now it's just, like, they sit on you and then you hold
mhm.
them, which is also very inconvenient, so they have, like, an attachment now that goes around you. I've never used it with the attachment, but at that point to me, I'm like, "Why don't you just use a carrier instead of a
Yeah,
tush baby? Because it's just a little more awkward, but, um, I that's just my 2 cents on tush baby. I had one and I
yeah,
liked it when I had it, it's just sometimes it's just there's places it's not good for.
yeah.
And best place to buy a tush baby because people like me, um, you is Facebook Marketplace
And
because
yeah,
people
I
give it
knew you were
away
gonna say
all the
that.
time.
Yeah. That is actually really good advice because I haven't it's sitting on my little Amazon list, and I'm like, "Is this worth it?" I mean, we always use she likes being in the carrier. She has no problem with it. Um, so I'm like, is it worth it? Is this more comfortable for me? It's a good point. She's not walking. Will she be walking by then? Could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
They change so much every single day, but it is a good point of like, you still have to hold them versus a carrier. I'm just like, my hands are free. I need my hands
Mhm.
to be free. So no, that's really,
Right.
really good advice. Well, what is the number one best advice you could give a mom taking her kids on any flight? It doesn't have to be international, but just traveling with your baby.
I think the number one thing I'm gonna have 2. One is gonna be
Okay.
super positive and one's gonna be really realistic.
Fair.
The super positive one is you paid for this trip, have fun. Okay, so it's just
Mm.
gonna you're just gonna have fun and just things are gonna go wrong. Your baby will cry. Everyone will look at you and it'll be fine. And that's my positive one.
Need to hear that.
Yeah.
I needed that.
We've all been there. It's happened. My realistic one is traveling with babies is parenting in another location. So also keep that in mind where it's like, it is going to be hard and that's okay. And that's just, how it works. And your travel looks completely different, especially long term like that, like 10 days. It's just going to look like parenting in a new location. But that's okay too, because you're in a different place, which is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just say give yourself some grace. They're kids. Everybody knows they're kids, and no one's really judging you unless you're playing your kids crawling on the floor playing, because I would be
Yeah, it's so happening.
judging you.
Our girls turned 1 this week, so,
I
all the
cannot
feels.
believe it. 1 years old is wild. Like this year was
Yes.
both so long, so short. As they
Yes.
say, the years are short, but the days are long. That's exactly how
Yes.
this year has felt.
It's insane. Like, I even was feeding her breakfast this morning, and I just was looking at her, and I'm like, "You are huge. Like, you're a child. Like, you're not you
Mhm.
are a child, and you're turning 1," and also the feels, but also we're planning her first birthday party, and it's a lot right now, but,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
My last
Well,
baby. We'll see.
are you guys doing a party?
Yeah, unfortunately, for being my last born or second born, however you want to say it, we are having a party. It is so small. I have not planned any of it at all. So I think they're gonna have Panera and a balloon,
Okay. Okay.
and I'm gonna make a cake.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's a party. You have
It's a
cake, you have
party.
food, you have people. Party. So
Exactly.
that's all you need. I love that. But thank you for letting me pick your brain, Tim, as I'm still going to text you 500 things, I'm sure, naturally. But
Yes.
I'm sure other moms appreciate it too, just kind of who haven't experienced it before.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those things that comes up all the time, and so I'm sure people will be listening to this years later, being like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." So
Hopefully,
you're welcome.
goals years
Yeah.
later. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Also, I wore my Ariana Grande sweater for you today because Tempest had the audacity to send me a voice memo of Abel singing Taylor Swift. And we might lose some followers today, but I do not like Taylor Swift. I can't stand her music. So I wore Ari today to let you know. Only send me Ari. Teach Abel an Ari song.
To be honest, he hasn't I don't think he's ever listened to Ariana Grande, which is sad because I love her so much. So I will be putting on the Positions album today, all
Thank you.
day.
Appreciate it. Send that to me once he learns it. He'll probably learn it in an hour,
I
but
mean,
it's
and
fine.
yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to us. Don't forget to please subscribe to our channel, engage with us, comment, like. We love continuing to chat with you guys. And we will see you next week.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.
Bye.